Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Futbol on Full Heel. With you today, as usual, is Frankie here with Andres and Rafa in the back right now. Johnny the boy will be joining a little bit later. He'll call in once he's done with some stuff. But once again, welcome back to this, our 24th edition of Futbol on Full Heel. Your weekly, stop for all things football around the globe. The last couple months, we haven't had a whole lot of football around the globe, but that's why today's episode is exciting. Stuff is kicking into gear. We've had German football for a couple weeks now. And in that time, Bayern Munich has begun to separate themselves. And then this week, Spain returns. We've also got some Italian action this weekend before England kicks off next weekend too. So really, really exciting. Exciting for the time of COVID anyway. So we'll get you caught up on everything that you need. First thing we'll get you caught up on, Andres, you won the picks last week. Congratulations, bro.
About time.
Yeah.
About time, I feel.
Otherwise, Johnny would have had the 3 weeks straight, right? He would have had bragging rights. Now, just to peg you down a little bit after that, last week was particularly brutal. We, out of the 4 picks, you won with 2 correct picks. Johnny and I only got 1 correct pick. So it was an off week there. It was a crazy week because contrary to the usual trend from the Bundesliga recently, there weren't any blowouts. It wasn't crazy, a whole lot of scoring, right? Unless you count Bayern, but Bayern is Bayern, right? And it's just a machine at this point. So with that too, last week, 6 days ago now, Portugal returned. The Portuguese Liga became, the second to come back in Europe. And then the Greek League returned in that time as well too. So we've got the Portuguese Liga and the Greek League, the Greek Super League. If you follow either of those two, they're back. I know Porto lost last weekend. Benfica plays tomorrow. And then tomorrow as well on ESPN, of all places, the German Cup is on today. Leverkusen dispatched Saarbrücken, which is a team from the 4th division in Germany, and they beat them in the semifinal, and Leverkusen advances as the first finalist. And tomorrow, Bayern Munich plays Eintracht Frankfurt. So Bayern plays tomorrow at 1:45 on ESPN. So if you're free and have ESPN, you can catch Bayern playing in the semifinal of the German Cup. Should be Bayern all the way. They trounced Frankfurt 5-2 a couple weeks ago. And it really wasn't as close as the 5-2 scoreline suggests. So definitely check that out if you've got time tomorrow, if you're free in the afternoon, maybe got lunch. But that's tomorrow, Wednesday. Now, Thursday is big because Thursday is the return of La Liga. Spanish football. Futbol is back. And we get started with a really, really good one in Spain. The Sevilla Derby. We have Betis versus Sevilla, which is a really, really good game to kick things off with. And that's, of course, one of the matches that we'll be picking later. That is probably going to be on Bein Sport. Bein, you're going to need one of those fancier cable providers to see or to catch any La Liga games. So see if you can get a free trial or something before Thursday when this action in Spain returns. And then this Friday and Saturday, Italian Calcio returns as well. Juve versus Milan on Friday. That's at 2 p.m., I believe, also on ESPN Plus. And that's for the second leg of the semifinal for the Italian Cup. And then on Saturday, the other 2 semifinalists play, Inter versus Napoli. Same time, 2 p.m. on Saturday. So a lot of soccer. We went from nothing to something in the Bundesliga. And now looks like we're getting back to the normal full swing of things. And before you know it, on the 20th, Serie A will be back in full. Again, I said the Italians will be back this weekend, but it'll be the Cup The tournament, the league will return on the 20th. On the 17th, the EPL, the big one, right? The big boy. The Premier League returns on the 17th with quite a matchup, too. We have Arsenal versus Man City. And then Sheffield United plays Aston Villa that day as well. So 2 matches on a Wednesday before the rest of the league joins up later that weekend on the 20th. So a lot of things to start to process, a lot of leagues and teams to start to watch. We're hearing word that the Champions League will return in August with just single-legged affairs for the remainder, which would be the quarterfinals, semifinals, and final. Normally, they're 2-legged affairs, but just to get it in and reduce, the possibility that COVID-19, there's a spike, right? Or what do they call it? A second wave. In case they have to scrap things, they're just going to try to get it in as quickly as possible. So that's exciting as well. And like we've already mentioned, if there's anybody that benefits from having already played, is Bayern, because Bayern has been cruising in the Bundesliga. They've won every match since they've returned to action there. And there's only 4 matches left. They've got a 7-point gap between second place. So Bayern can wrap that up in a couple matches. So great timing as Bayern is wrapping things up there, that the other leagues are coming back. So again, the big one, the important one is Thursday. We have Real Betis versus Sevilla. Sevilla, big, important city in southern Spain, in Andalusia. And Betis and Sevilla are the 2 big clubs from that city. So definitely one to watch if you're a neutral or if you don't know a whole lot about Spanish soccer. Recently, myself and Andres and everybody else, most of our friends have been keeping an eye on Betis because Andres Guardado and what's the younger kid's name? Diego Lainez, right? They play at Betis, so there's 2 Mexicans that play there. So we're invested in Betis just like we're invested in Wolves, right? Who play in England, Raúl Jimenez's team. But yeah, I'm excited that La Liga is finally returning as well. What about you, Andres? You psyched? You were rocking the Barcelona training kit right now. Oh no, he froze.
Not wearing any. Sure.
No. Experiencing technical difficulties here on the live stream. Broke in and out there.
Yeah. They look.
Oh no. Give us a sec, guys.
I hear traffic now.
That's on me. That's my traffic.
That's Damon Avenue there.
Yeah.
Whoops. Disclosed crucial coordinates there. But yeah, I'm guessing Andres is excited too. Who wouldn't be excited to see Messi and crew come back? 2 points separating the top teams right now. Barcelona's got 58 points. Real Madrid's got 56. And in the couple months that there's been a pause, there's been plenty of time for some key players, some important players to get healthy, right? So that being said, do you think anybody in particular is better positioned to win La Liga, Andres? Any of the 2 big powers?
I think Andres is trying to better position himself. With better internet.
I see what you did there. Very nice.
Yeah.
I think Andres might be able to turn off his camera and only play the audio. Maybe that'll make the stream a little bit better.
Yeah, try that out. Try that, broski.
And shouts out to Recession Proof. What's up, guys? hit us up in the chat. We need
What's up? Recession
we need
proof.
Johnny to save the day right now. To be honest.
Nah, well, like I was telling you guys, 2 points separate the top two teams in Spain, right? As we try to recover here and work with the technical difficulties. And then things still get even more interesting for the Champions League spots. Sevilla is currently in third place. And then right behind them, Real Sociedad, which is a historic club in Spain, is in fourth place. And then really the team you normally expect to be in third place, a really tough Atletico Madrid team coached by Simeone, they're down in sixth. They've had their struggles this season. So for them, it looks like when things get back in full swing for them this weekend, they're going to have to really focus on trying to right the ship and trying to get back into the top four, because Champions League revenue and that Champions League money is huge, right? That's what teams aim for, so that they've got, some money to spend on players to reinvest in the squad. And of course, Atleti is one of those teams that we've just become accustomed to seeing in, not only just the Champions League, but in the later stages of the Champions League, right? They recently went to two finals, both against Real Madrid, right? Eternal rivals. And both times, unfortunately, they lost, but still a tough team to beat, and definitely a team I would expect to maybe get it together before the end of the season, and right the ship and get back into the top four, because Getafe is right there in fifth place too. Getafe is another shocker team there. But yeah, the question I asked Andres before he had to go and try to sort his technical difficulties, who's better positioned to win? Barcelona, although they have the 2-point cushion, I feel have looked more vulnerable throughout the season. Real Madrid is 2 points down, but they did win the Clásico in March. They had a couple fumbles after that, but they have what I would, in air quotes, put some new signings. They went from... Is there a question?
Yeah, so they're starting up, right? How are they going to continue forward with the season? I have no idea, because I don't watch soccer. I just produce the show. Are they going to do a reduced season? Or are they going to I think NBA is trying to do 22 playoff team
Format?
Yeah, something like that. Are they going to do something similar? Because it took a big chunk of their season out, right?
Good question. Is that recession proof?
No, that was me.
That was you?
Yeah.
All right, well, good question. No, they're going to put it... well, thanks for the question. That's a very good question. They're going to try to play the rest of the season out. There's only about 8 to 9 games left. They don't have too many games left, so they're going to play it out before the end of July is the plan. So they're just going to... It's just like they took another mid-season break. And in the major leagues, well, the European leagues that have 20 teams in it, they play 38 matches. The German league and a few other leagues that have 18 teams play 34 matches. So up until now, they've played right around 30 matches. So the plan is to play the remaining 9 matches behind closed doors. But the teams were going to travel to other team stadiums like they've been doing in Germany as well. The other funky thing is, and I'm glad you did bring it up, I was reading that in Spain, I guess, the recovery efforts and the, what's the term that they're using? The curve, right? They beat the curve or whatever. They're talking about possibly even having fans to finish the season. I was reading anywhere from like 15% to 40% capacity of these stadiums, which is crazy because some of these stadiums, for example, Barcelona's is like a 90,000 seater, right? So even at 40% capacity, that's a lot of people, right? I don't know how realistic that is, but big ups to the Spanish government and Spanish health officials if they've really got a handle on it like that. And so far from all the testing that they've been doing in the camps and in training, we haven't had too many positives, or any positives that I'm aware of, since the first initial wave of a handful of players was sequestered after they tested positive, but they're going to finish it in full. So everybody's going to have, at least 8 to 9 matches to finish it off, and then really see, first of all, who's going to win it because it's close, who's going to finish in the Champions League spots and compete for that tournament and then make that extra revenue.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that too. Are all the leagues from the Champions League coming back? And are they going to finish that up too as regularly planned?
Yeah, so the Champions League, they're going to finish their plan is to wait until everybody else has finished their league. So most of the other big leagues are planning to be done by the end of July. So the plan is to do the remainder of the Champions League through August. And like I was saying earlier, they want to do like an accelerated format. So there wouldn't be home and away. It would just be one match KO knockout tournament to determine it and just get it out of the way as quickly as possible.
What is that, 8 games?
In Spain?
Like a month?
Yeah. And then after that, the like Rafa was asking, the teams that are remaining in the Champions League would finish the champions. Welcome back. You're looking a lot crisper and not frozen.
I was frozen for a little bit. My bad, bro.
No, you're good. It's technology. It's a problem we have to work with currently in the times of the COVID. So it is what it is. But first of all, you're geeked. You're excited, right? Leo Messi and company are coming back, and Spanish football is back.
Yeah.
Yay or nay?
Well, am I excited? Yeah, I'm excited. Finally.
Cool. Yeah, right. It's been a minute. I was starting to touch on some of those, what we call, or are going to feel like new signings, right? Steve Q. They can fill the stadiums now. Look how people were protesting in the streets and no one said anything about the COVID. Steve Q, that was here in the States. Spain, if they did have mad protests, it was probably 1 or 2 of those big solidarity protests. So I don't think it was as big of a thing in Spain or in Europe as it was here, widespread in the United States. And unfortunately, protesting in COVID is one of those things people necessarily had to do to fight a big systemic problem. But yeah, they're back in La Liga. We're excited. And we started to kind of touch on signings that are going to feel like new, right? Madrid has got Hazard back healthy, Asensio back healthy, right? You're a big talker. You're real excited about Suarez joining the attack. So who do you think? I was starting to say that I have Madrid as a team better positioned to finish strong and win it, even though Barcelona is in first place. Would you agree with that? Or who do you think is better positioned?
I mean, it's a little too early to say before the pandemic started.
You need to see it before you can call it?
Yeah, you can't really go based off, pre-pandemic. I mean, 50-50 is what the league was going to happen, so they're probably going to come back 50-50, and so at some point someone's going to get, in hot form, like scoring goals, and, well, I don't know, I wouldn't doubt it to see Madrid finally score some goals with Hazard and Asensio.
Yeah,
so,
and that's what they've been missing up top, right? And Johnny will be the first to tell you that. Also, just to clarify, my apologies. I keep saying 7 or 8 games, but in the Spanish league, there are actually 11 matches left. So, like you said, actually, I'll agree with you now. It might be too soon to tell just because there's over 10 match days, and we'll need to see where everybody's kind of on and how they look after the extended break, right? Well, then let me rephrase the question. Out of those refreshed new players, who's going to make more of an impact, or who was needed more? Suarez returning to Barcelona, possibly Dembele. Dembele is probably not coming back, right? If I'm not mistaken, he was a longer term injury, but
Yeah, he was in August
right.
recovery. So
Is the Suarez going to make more of an impact than, let's say, Hazard and Asensio are to Madrid?
I mean, those are two big pieces or three big pieces for two big teams. I think Suarez and Messi definitely have that connection. Whereas if I'm moving, one way, you're moving this way. And when Griezmann was playing with them, he kind of just dragged defenders, left Suarez, have some more space to roam in. Messi taking, long shots. So I think it's going to be a little bit more natural. I think Madrid's still going to have to try to figure out how to play three players at once. So they're just hoping that, everyone's pushing hard, but probably I would say Barcelona come out strong. Suarez might not play, 90 minutes, but at least he'll get some game time. I don't know. It's early, but both teams should look to improve offensively.
Okay. So just to rephrase what you said, Suarez kind of adds more of a dimension to Barcelona and makes them a little bit more dangerous.
Yeah.
Right. But same for the Madrid players, right? Because they've been looking a little bit flat up top and been getting goals out of people like Isco, right? Right before.
Yeah, at least Messi has someone else, to kind of psychically, telepathically play, balls in open space. So it's not just, Griezmann and Messi, getting along. It's going to be more like, okay, this is not focused on Griezmann so much. It's kind of just how do we work better as a team.
No, I definitely agree. I think he adds another threat to Barcelona. Obviously, he's the player that plays the best with Messi. He's the one that has the best connection with him. We're going to see a lot more of those dangerous 1-2s between them, right? A lot of those outside the box and a lot of assists to and from each other. But there's no doubting that Hazard is a very, very quality attacking player, right? And he's not your number 9 or your forward, which is what Madrid might be lacking, right? Because they have quality on the wings, whether it be maybe young and experienced quality in Vinicius and Rodrigo, but they have Bale too, right? And Asensio coming back. I guess let's look a little bit. Well, since we're already talking about it, I guess my concern for a team like Barcelona is on other parts of the field, right? Do they have the right balance in midfield and any depth in defense? For example, Busquets looked a little bit better since Quique Setién took over, but while Valverde was there, it just wasn't looking right. And De Jong has been playing well and trying hard, right? Working hard. But he was being played maybe out of position or being asked to do things he didn't know how to do or doesn't know how to do yet, right? So I don't know what the right balance is for the midfield for them yet. And then defense, we've got Umtiti hurt. We've got Piqué coming to the end of his career. Junior Firpo, the jury's out on him, right? If Alba gets hurt, who's another one of their bigger creative outlets. Yeah, they don't have they have a right back in Semedo, right? And I still have hope for him, but I feel like there's a lot of question marks there. And another point that I like to make is Bayern Munich maybe is on a different level than Barcelona right now, but even when they struggle, they still win, right? Or they are, even when they're not in full gear, they're still dangerous, right? Whereas Barcelona, when they're not clicking, you just don't know how they're going to pull out a result, right? When Messi's not firing right now,
right,
or he's not, 10 for 10 on the day, they don't really have an answer. So it kills me as a Barcelona fan, but I think Madrid just has a little bit more experience and composure in the midfield. Casemiro's been stellar this season. I think he's got like the most interceptions and tackles in La Liga right now. Kroos and Modric should be refreshed now, right? And they're just too good and classy to not make a difference, right? And of course the Madrid backline is pretty solid too. So I want to say Madrid, but before the break, when they won the Clásico, we said they had it, right? And now it looks like who knows? They're 2 points back. and just in time to answer the question too. Johnny the boy, what's up,
What
bro?
up,
How you doing?
G's?
So Andres and I were just
about
talking about,
Barca.
yeah, we had some technical difficulties, and when we finally got it right, we started talking about who's in a better position to win La Liga. Who do you think is?
I think Madrid off of the depth, but I would say it's a 50-50. But I also thought the Bundesliga race was going to be closer, and we've seen how that turned out. So
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of whoever gets the most momentum at this point. But that's a good point to start on. I mean, Barca gets Suarez back. Is that a big deal? There was the alarms for Messi because he wasn't training or something, and then he showed up, right?
Yeah.
And then I mean, it depends if Griezmann, Messi, and Suarez are gonna be better than all of Madrid because that's pretty much all they got in terms of like goal scoring. Who scores goals for Barca though? You know, if it's not Messi, it's got to be who. I think the question is, who do you think scores more goals, Madrid or Barca? And Madrid, this has been a more defensive Madrid too, so it's a weird, it's a interesting race.
So it comes down to goals, you think?
I think who can score more. I don't know that either team is. I think Madrid is a little bit more stacked.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can go into the bench and do some different stuff. Zidane has actually shown some tactical versatility with some of the players he's used or some of the formations.
Yeah.
Valverde has been a big revelation this year, but I would give a slight edge to Madrid, but not by a lot, like 49-51 Madrid.
Who do you think starts for Madrid, though, front three?
I think it's going to be Benzema.
Like first game back?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's where Madrid just has more things they can do depending on who they play.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Barca's always going to play, if they're healthy, their front three. And if Dembele ever comes back, what's up with that?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but I don't know. It's really a toss up for Madrid. The only like player that's consistently started, I would say, is Benzema, and the front three.
Yeah,
and then it's been a toss up of Isco, Vasquez, Vinicius, and Bale.
Yeah,
so I think those are the forwards. Yeah.
Your timing, as usual, is always impeccable because I was just saying how the difference might be the balance, like in midfield or in defense, and you brought up another one that I completely forgot, Valverde, right? Who's been, like you said, a revelation. So they've got options in mid. You said Zidane's been tinkering with things, right?
Yeah.
And playing different players and different formations sometimes, which again, I know I haven't usually given him credit for in the past. So.
Yeah, Courtois has also came good this season after starting terribly.
Yeah, right. And he's probably he's got the clean sheet record. Well, not the record, but he's got most clean sheets in Spain, possibly even in Europe right now. Even he's been really, after we made so many jokes about him, right, giving up so many cheap goals. He's found his form. But what about the one team that's not in the top four that I think should be and is usually there? And once again, actually, real quick before I bring them up, shout out to everybody who's watching live right now. We didn't do live last week, so thank you guys for joining us. I know quick shout outs to we had Recession Proof, we had Steve Q, a couple other viewers who usually watch as well. So thank you guys and thanks for your participation. But Atleti, Johnny, they don't look like a Simeone team, right? Or they didn't up until they came into the Champions League tie with Liverpool, right? And then they really looked like an Atletico team. But currently they sit in sixth place. Sevilla's in third, Sociedad's in fourth, and then Getafe is in fifth. The gap is very slim. I think Sevilla's got 47 points, and then Atleti's got 45 or 44. So they're right there. Do you think they recover and finish in the Champions League spots?
I don't know.
I think they do. I think they were in good form prior to, Well, not as good form. They have good players enough to, this is a top 5 team easily in the world. So why wouldn't they
Chill
be
on
able
all
to?
that. Top
Well,
5
give it.
right now. Top 15, maybe top 20. I don't think they're. I think they might crack the top 10, but not top 5. Definitely not top 5.
You don't think they're top 5?
No, not right now. Now when they spent 75 million on Murata, who I guarantee you is a decent player, but not worth that money. But
Well,
they're a
well,
tough out. That's the thing
they're
about
a
the
tough
champs.
out. Yeah, and
It's a different.
even if it's La Liga, they're defensively, organized most games. So I don't see why this would not have them back in the top 4. They should be back
Well,
in the top 4.
I mean, how many points are they off of the top 3?
Sevilla's
Third.
Sevilla's in third on 47. Atletico's right there on 45. So it's like a 2-point difference.
Yeah, it's not that big of a.
A lot of these teams grow as well after big games, like, after beating big teams, like they grow as an identity, as this is what we have to do when we beat, the Liverpools on a Champions League night. So I feel like that was a turning point for them in the season, kind of, and that's what they're going to, I mean, I'm hoping they go based off of that because it's been a while, but I mean, that kind of just sparks a team sometimes. I thought they were going to go on a run.
Well, to me, this is the most interesting race that we have, the La Liga race right now, because Barca and Madrid are close, and then they're still out to play in La Liga. So you can almost think of it as a mini season right now. These what is it, 10 games, 11 games for them?
11, yep.
Yeah, everything that really happened doesn't matter. It's all going to be on whose form it comes back, because all these guys have been sitting at home for 2 months. And then I know maybe we'll touch on it later, but me and Frankie were like, now your case strengthens, Andres, for Bayern, just off of form, off of results, and off of been playing for the last month. All these other teams are at a disadvantage when they go play Bayern now. But yeah, we'll talk about that later probably. But I didn't hear who you guys had between Madrid or Barca or and then the Atletico, if you think it'll crack the top 3.
So we both had Madrid with the advantage.
Okay. By a little, by a lot?
Well, I don't know. I think
I said it was 50-50. I think is what I said. It's too early to call. It just depends on a lot of things.
I thought it was a little until you reminded me that, they have Valverde. They still have young pieces like Militao, who's been playing some minutes for them and getting some experience, right? They have Varane right there with Ramos too for options. I thought it was kind of a toss-up too until you kind of dropped the facts.
Yeah. The thing is that Barca, they don't have as many options and they're top-heavy. Whereas like in the mid, you can only really count on De Jong, and then the defense is a complete toss-up. It's just Ter Stegen back there. So
right.
That's what makes me believe that they got the edge, but they got the trump card in Messi. So it should be interesting. Yeah.
I also agree with what Andres said, because I was going to cut him off to ask him if he thought it was the turning point, but I agree with him and say that Liverpool victory was a turning point for Atleti's season. Now they're a little bit healthier, you mentioned, and I'm glad you mentioned that too, because we'll talk about transfers in a little bit. But Morata, it sounds like that his loan from Chelsea is permanent now, and Chelsea's going to use that money in quite a good way. We're hearing. But they got Morata staying now. They've got all of their players recovered. It looks like Joao Felix, who picked up an injury, is back in training and ready to roll. And I just got to believe there's too much quality in that Atletico squad for them to not finish third or fourth at least. I also wanted to ask you that, Johnny, because I know how much you love the Spanish league right now, right? So I also got to believe that Atletico's better than Getafe or Sociedad or Sevilla, no?
I want to, but I'm not. I wouldn't say that. I don't know. I haven't seen the Spanish league that much this year because as I've been saying all year. It's been it definitely fell off. So after CR7 left, nah, that's biased, but I don't find the same allure at least. But this has struck up some interest for me. This because that's really the only thing to see. EPL's wrapped up. I'm sure Andres knows that. Can't wait. And then France isn't even playing. Bayern already wrapped it up. So I mean, that's really the showcase. I think it's gonna be. It should bring some good eyes to the La Liga right now.
So you don't think Lazio will give Juve a challenge in Serie A when that comes back?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that's La Liga and Serie A all to play for. Atletico, I don't know. I think what's wrong with Atletico? They keep buying the same players, but like this year they got João Felix, and I thought he would be a bit more of a. I think maybe the expectations were a little high after his first couple games,
right?
To really kind of carry the team, and it hasn't been working out like that. But I think they do got to get rid of some players. They have a lot of the same midfielders, kind of type of stuff. They got Vitolo, they got Correa, they got Partsley, or how do you say it? Thomas. They got
Partey,
Herrera.
right?
They have Koke. They have Saul. What's his last name? Saul Miguez, who's also on the radar, right?
Yeah.
For transfers. So, the defense is still good, but I think something's been missing this year. I think it's a good. I like Andres' point that after they beat Liverpool, but I think that momentum is more for the Champions League, and it won't directly translate to the league.
No, yeah. Well, I think the big thing is, the Champions League money, right? And they obviously want to finish in the top four, but you also bring up a good point. They can go on and, as unlikely as it is, right, finally win the Champions League. And if they win the Champions League, they're right back in it again next year, right? Then the Champions League then the champion play again next year.
Or exactly. So
I could see them beating a very hot Bayern as well,
Yeah, it's all matchups in the Champions League.
Yep, and especially if they're going to come back as planned, just one match, single, what is it, sudden death, right? Just the one match, and that's it, you're out.
Who do the people in the comments have, Barca or Madrid, or are they even care? No, crazy. I think should be interesting. You haven't talked about Serie A, right?
No, Serie A didn't have too much for this week because we just have two matches this weekend, and they're both for the Coppa Italia. So Serie A resumes the league next weekend. So probably in our next edition.
That would be good. Okay.
Next edition will be pretty much all Serie A and England this time next week, because both of those will return next week as well. The other, I guess, who finishes in the other Champions League spots there in Spain? I say Atletico definitely finishes in third or fourth. If that becomes Sevilla or Sociedad or maybe even Getafe, they're all right in there. Who do you guys finish?
I think
finishes in the spot.
I'm sorry. I've been hearing Getafe a lot. They're doing good in the Europa, right?
They're still in Europa League, yep.
I hear they have
they knocked out Ajax.
Yeah, they have what's the word? A brash style or a harsh style. They got a real griminess to them, right? This year.
They're called the anti-football team because all they do is disrupt plays and.
Well, I heard when they played Ajax that the ball wasn't in circulation for more than 60 minutes.
Yeah.
The point is basically to disconnect the whole team by fouls and wasting time, and it's like you're not watching. It's like watching a sport with commercials every 10 minutes.
I mean, I'm with it. I know I've heard the most out of them and from the Liga, honestly, after Barca Madrid. Sevilla, I know Chicharito left, and then that was the end of that. And I don't know who they have. Munir? Sevilla? I mean, they got good players, but not what it used to be. I don't know what's going on in Spain, but I feel like the smaller teams used to be a little bit more organized and more do more with less talent, and now I guess the talent just has it flocked to Germany or England, or I don't know what's going on. The coaches have been leaving, but
I think the players are there,
something's
right?
up with me.
Didn't Spain just have a really good Youth World Cup, right? Or a Euro? Didn't they win the? It was the under 21 Euro, right, or something like that. Yeah, so they've got some young players in the pipeline. But you do bring up a good point, actually, now that I think about it. How many of those guys are actually, like, in Spain, right? Like, I can think of Dani Olmo was the big one, right? And he's playing in Germany, right? And we do have, like, a lot of young Spanish players playing abroad. So, good point. But we'll see it. Again, I don't know if that indicates competition or that it's weak, right?
Yeah.
But it's close right there. 3rd, 4th, 5th through 6th is going to be a battle, just like it is in the Premier League. So we'll definitely keep everybody posted and check in on that. What you missed too, Johnny. Andres won the picks last week. You and I had a really bad week. We only got one.
Fuck it, happens.
Yeah, you had 2 in a row before that. It had to come to an end sometime. But we'll make a couple this week. We'll do 5 picks instead of 4, so that maybe we have some redemption there at the end.
Sure.
But yeah, definitely keep an eye out on, again, Thursday. Betis versus Sevilla will be on to bring La Liga back, and then Saturday.
I like that. I like that Betis team actually.
Betis.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were mentioning how our boys are over there, right?
Yeah, exactly. But they have a nice young squad. A lot of kind of washed up players. Or you know what other team has been good? Sociedad, right, Andre?
Yep, they're in 4th.
Yeah, I like those teams. So, not La Liga. I mean, yeah, they do got some talent. It would be smart of Barca to raid on that because they don't got shit moving forward.
Yeah, right. There's whispers of that midfielder from Valencia, right? Fran Torres. Reading some good things about him and how all the Spanish teams are trying to keep him in Spain. So who knows, right? Barcelona needs some midfield players, so maybe they get on it. But yeah, since we have 2 more leagues returning next week, we'll kind of keep everybody posted on how Bayern's doing in first place in the Bundesliga, as well as fill you in on the return of La Liga, and then talk about the incoming returns of English and Italian soccer. But then it's starting to feel like summer here, which reminds me that it's usually this time of the year that we have the big transfers, right? The big ones. It's usually when we see players swapping clubs, swapping leagues. So far, I think the biggest news we've gotten is Icardi staying permanently at PSG, right? He's making his loan deal permanent from Inter Milan. And then the other one that we mentioned is Morata is making his loan deal from Chelsea to Atletico permanent. We know Sané is most likely going to Bayern. I think they just got to make that official. And then the other one we thought was pretty much official too, right? It was pretty much a done deal that Timo Werner was going to Liverpool, right? And now, in quite a twist, it looks like he's actually going to Chelsea. It was reported
I heard that wasn't confirmed either, though. I heard that they triggered the clause, but it wasn't like player has to agree, I guess.
Yeah. Well, what we know now is that apparently Liverpool can afford him this summer. Klopp really wanted him, but he was told that given COVID economy, they won't be able to really spend this summer given the players that they have and what they're being paid, right?
Yes, I think they don't even have a top 10 paid squad, I think.
Yeah,
or
no,
maybe
I think,
barely top 10.
I think part of it too was maybe ownership didn't want to spend, let's say Galactico money, right, on somebody who's going to be coming in as the first sub, right? Because Werner coming in, learning the new league, right, is obviously going to be the first guy in for Firmino, Mane, and Salah, right? Whenever one of those guys needs a break at first, right? So,
Damn, that means that no Sancho then either, Dembele or
looks like nobody for Liverpool. The only thing that we heard from Liverpool is that your boy Adam Lallana is definitely leaving this summer. They're going to extend him. His deal was up, I think, at the end of this month, but they're going to extend it like another month so he can finish the season and get his Premiership medal.
They also loaned out Harry Wilson again, I think.
To Bournemouth again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was this week as well.
That's right, because so that he could finish the season there with them. So I think that's huge. Werner to Chelsea.
For Chelsea? Yeah.
If that does happen, first of all, shocker, did not see that coming. Chelsea making a splash. They've already got a nice little young squad there. Right?
Yeah. This is why we love football, right? Because it got me wanting to talk a lot. But so I'll bring it up. It looks like Man U and Chelsea are creeping at least,
Yep.
Making moves.
They already bought Hakeem Ziyech, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had Pulisic and Mason Mount and Hudson Odoi.
That Hakeem kid looks like a beast. So
from Ajax, and then I was reading even crazier stuff today that they're making a bid for Kai Havertz. Can you imagine they bring both Werner and Havertz in the same summer?
I don't think so, but
I would agree with you. But then didn't Chelsea just come off the transfer ban, right? So then maybe they have some money to spend.
Well, they're definitely not going to keep all those players.
Yeah, they still financial fair play. They're still going to sell,
right?
But
maybe
they'll probably bring in one of those two, if not. Maybe none of them, and maybe they go for a different route. But yeah, they're making moves, which is what was expected because of the band and the money that they have saved up. And most of the players are academy players, so they're not making big money right now. I'm sure they can bring on a couple big stars.
I think teams are definitely picking onto the Liverpool scheme. Get young players. Build around the coach, kind of go from there.
Yeah.
See what they need to strengthen, and then spend good on that. Don't spend good on shit you don't need, like Barca and some of these other big clubs.
Yeah, no, Lampard has been surprisingly good as manager in his first season in the Premier League, right? And with that young core, right? And we just mentioned you had Ziyech, you had Werner, possibly Havertz. All of a sudden, they're looking
nice,
right? Real nice. Yeah. And the other one you mentioned, right, is imagine something crazy like Sancho going to United all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Why was that crazy? I was saying that all. That's too much.
For me, I'm saying it's crazy because Man U is just at such a low point, to me at least, that I don't know that they attract like the biggest player, but we'll see. At least that's my thing. Do you think Pogba will stay and play there? I still haven't heard anything, but they keep hyping it up now that Pogba
I think that's still a wild. I think that's still a wild card whether Pogba stays. But if they're not looking at Pogba,
if he'll play.
Oh, if he'll play, yeah, he'll play. I'm sure he has to.
Yeah, no. Johnny famously said that Pogba has already played his last game for United, right? And here we are now. But nobody accounted for COVID. I would have never thought that he'd have 3 more months to recover from alleged injuries, right? And now be able to be training. But apparently he's training and he might be ready to go. So who knows, right? Maybe what can you imagine? A midfield of Pogba, McTominay possibly, and or Fred, right? Fred was having a decent season before, and Bernardo Silva. All of a sudden, they don't look as weak, I guess. I don't know.
Matic was also there, and he was playing well. They were a team in good form. Fred was scoring goals,
Well, yeah. If old Gunnar is smart, Fred and McTominay give Pogba that base in the mid to let him kind of free roam around, and kind of maybe they throw Fernandez in the wing or something like that. And
Rashford's also healthy.
yeah,
Again, so.
it's not bad. I think they gotta let go of Marshall, but that's probably for another day thing. But yeah, suddenly they look interesting. Them and Chelsea.
Pogba's the one we're talking about, right? Do you think he stays then?
I still say no until I see him play. I'm gonna say no.
I just don't see where he can end up other than maybe Madrid. But
I see Pogba at Juve. I think maybe they make a move for Jorginho. Maybe I don't know. They're probably going to try to replace their midfield, get it going.
can you imagine Pogba and CR7 on the same team?
Yeah, I can imagine it. I can imagine it as a Juventus 2021 team. Let's make it happen.
I see Pogba more at Barca or Madrid, but
in Spain.
Yeah.
What about some other of these highly touted players? Lautaro Martinez, does he stay at Inter? I'm hearing that both Madrid, Barca is the one that's the most high profile, right? And obvious, but I'm hearing Madrid wants him as well, possibly.
Well, I'm hearing that Inter isn't willing to do they'll do a swap, but they're not willing to just take whatever Barca is gonna give them. Everyone seems to be the deal is made or broken on Semedo playing or being included.
Nelson Semedo, right? Or we also heard and I know Andres brought this up too. A swap with Juve being dependent on Arthur being included, right? With Barcelona, Juve really wants Arthur. So, again, so far because everything has been paused, we don't have too much movement so far. Few free agents that won't be re-signing. The one I already brought up was Adam Lallana, who's been at Liverpool for the last 6 years or so. Won't be re-signing once the season's done. The other, I guess, significant one that we're hearing is Thiago Silva. PSG told them they won't be re-signing him after his contract is up this summer too. So Thiago Silva is one of those experienced center backs that becomes available. Is he washed up, or do you think he can help somebody?
He can add leadership to an AC Milan team.
He goes back to AC Milan?
Yeah, I think that's his most, favorable destination. He goes back for leadership with Ibra, kind of, lead them to a top 4 finish maybe. Hopeful.
Well, the thing for kind of little, not off subject, but Man U just didn't they made their loan too with that forward permanent from the Chinese league?
Igalo?
They extended it.
Extended it?
Because it was due to finish on the end of May, but since the season's not over yet, they extended it for another month or two.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't mean a whole another year?
Yeah, no, just for the rest of the summer.
Oh, okay. Then never mind. They got room for Sancho, but
yeah, they might still be able to pull the Jadon Sancho there.
I think Silva. Yeah, I don't know. I think he goes back to Italy or Brazil or something.
Yeah, right. Brazil is the other logical one. MLS maybe, but MLS is going away from that model of having old players being considered a retirement league or wanting to be considered a retirement league. So I think probably the most likely destination is go back home to Brazil, but I also would be surprised if what Andres said is likely to, right? And he comes in as that third center back, right? The first one off the bench, or just to offer some leadership or something. And actually that sounds kind of brilliant, right? I mean, I'm thinking, I can't think off the top of my head who their center backs are, but I mean, Milan is definitely a team desperate for some leadership, right? So who knows? Maybe he can help his former club out there as well. But yeah, as we keep hearing, reading, and acknowledging new transfers, we'll keep you guys posted as well. I think those are the I can't think of any other ones that I wrote down or that I might have missed. We talked about all the big ones. Kai Havertz, right? There might be.
Well, the Saul one. Apparently he followed everyone on Man U or something.
So
Remember?
I guess he would be a
Yeah.
come up for
That's a nice player, dude. But isn't he kind of seems extra then if we just name McTominay, Fred, Matic,
I would say he
Pogba,
I would say
and
he comes in,
Martinez
right, if Pogba leaves.
or Fernandez. Sorry. Yeah.
I would say if Pogba leaves, then he definitely comes in, right? Or the other one I'm saying, and I'm glad you brought that up. Good shit, Johnny, because the other one I was rating for United too was that's the one I missed. Donny Van de Beek, the midfielder from Ajax.
Yeah, they were saying he was a done deal too, right? For Man U or
Yeah.
or for
Real.
Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if that like I like to tell Andres, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So that's two midfielders that are being rumored with United, right? So that almost kind of makes me believe that maybe Pogba is leaving, right? Because they're being, if you're talking about Saul, if you're talking about Van de Beek, those
Van
are
de
center
Beek.
mids, right? That play in the Pogba position too. So,
Bro,
no.
every year, every top player is linked with Manchester United, though. We know this.
You think so? Well,
But not really.
Johnny's arguing
And
that
they never go.
Yeah, they never go.
So I'm telling you, but these
Pogba,
aren't big, yeah.
Pogba's the last like huge one, right? Before that, who was it? Di Maria, and Di Maria flopped or didn't like England.
Yeah. But no, I think he's saying just speculation wise. Remember when for a long time they're like Neymar's gonna go to Man U when the Barca saga was going on, but Man U doesn't. The big players don't want to go there because there's nothing there that's established. And then even the new trend that we're seeing in for buying is like, why would you go spend 100 mil on Pogba when you could spend maybe the same amount on one of the new up and coming stars that got more value, I guess, or maybe they're cheaper. Because look at Bale. Yeah, look at Bale. Like nobody wants Bale anymore. Rakitic. These other players that are also up in the air, you know, like Man U. Rakitic is a good player anywhere, but maybe they want too much money. All this type of stuff. It's going to be a wild transfer, I think, this year or transfer window
when it finally happens, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Check the space, and we'll keep everybody posted. And then before we make our picks, this week was a little bit slower in the history department on this day or whatever. So the only one I really have to touch on this week is this year, or on this day last year, Portugal won the inaugural UEFA Nations League tournament. And already I kind of smirk and I already laugh because for those of you who aren't aware, the UEFA Nations League replaced friendlies in Europe. So that in between the World Cup qualifying cycles, European teams played teams that were of their level, and there would be a little bit more incentive for them to play their big teams. So the Nations League did away with friendlies just to make it a little bit more interesting. So Portugal won that first edition when they beat the Netherlands in the final on this day last year in 2019, which gave Portugal their technically second international trophy. They won the Euro in 2016, and then 3 years later, followed it up with the UEFA Nations. I almost want to say 1.5 because I like to call the UEFA Nations League the UEFA Friendly Exhibition Tournament. I know that sounds like I'm hating, but it's not like the most rigorous tournament. Do you guys actually have any memories of this?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. That's the great CR7 recruited. What's his face on Juve? No, he recruited. I'm saying. Recruited De Ligt in that game, and I remember that because he went and talked to him before the game, and I think that's what even De Ligt said. He's like, "This guy told me to come sign or to come through," and of course he came. Come on, Frankie.
Yeah, right.
But also online that game, I don't remember the game, but I remember if Van Dijk would have won that game, probably for sure would have given him the Ballon d'Or
over Messi.
Yeah, because it was just going to be too many trophies against, or like just too easy. But because Portugal won again, giving Cristiano 2 international trophies over Messi, who has none.
Who has none? Yeah.
So maybe they need that in Argentina so he can win one.
The South American Nations League.
Yeah. That's what we need with the
CONMEBOL Nations League. Yeah, right.
Yeah, dude. Something like that for Mexico over here.
Well, Mexican wins the Copa de Oro all the time, but that's not saying a whole lot, right?
Yeah, exactly. They always beat Brazil or something, but it will be exhibition. And that's kind of what this says. So they're like, you know what? Let's just make it count.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
it's kind of cool, but it's not, because Europe is like, they have so many tournaments already. And then it's just like so many teams in general.
Yeah, I guess the other cool thing about the UEFA Nations League is that it offers teams another way to qualify for the Euro. So those teams who miss out in their qualifying group for the European Championship can still qualify if they do well in the Nations League. So I guess hopes for some of those smaller European countries that normally wouldn't get in, right? You're like, maybe like your Israels and your like Belaruses and, those type of countries who usually have like an outside shot at those tournaments. So I guess that it does add a little bit more entertainment value and a little bit more
competition to the
competition. Yeah. In between,
I think it'll be good to test out younger players there. Yeah.
And that's actually a good point to what I was going to say, Johnny, because I think it just adds. My minor complaint was that it adds more games to an already crazy packed schedule for professionals, right? So, but yeah, you're right. Maybe develop your young players that way. That's actually not something that I had considered off the top. So, that's dope. That's actually a good idea, right? We've seen national teams like Mexico have success at U17, U21, and U23 level, but then do nothing with it at senior
tell
level.
Me about it.
Right. So I'll stop there. But yeah, that pretty much brings us to the picks for this week. Thanks again to everybody who participated, who's watching, and thank you for bearing with us through some technical difficulties. We had some connection issues.
Thank you.
At the beginning, but today, actually, it's a
more German league.
Full slate today, boys. Actually, I don't want to do any disrespect, and we didn't talk about the Bundesliga too much because what really is there to be said at this point other than Bayern marches on, right? They have a 7-point gap, and they play Borussia Mönchengladbach this weekend, who just dropped points again. I don't see Bayern losing any ground, but we'll keep you posted on that. I actually don't have any Bundesliga picks this week, just because we've been Bundesliga heavy the last couple of weeks. And again,
that game would have been good. The Bayern.
You think so?
I think definitely so. I mean,
see, I would agree with that. And then last week, I thought Leverkusen versus Bayern was going to be great too, and then Leverkusen got spanked.
I know, but I feel you. Go for it then, yeah.
But this is a full slate either way. We got 6 matches, 3 from Spain, 2 from the the Coppa Italia, and then we have actually it was 4 from Spain. My fault. We're Spain heavy this week because La Liga's coming back.
And we talked about them a good amount today. So let's see what happens, right?
The first one is actually the first match to kick us off. Sevilla versus Betis on Thursday. Who you guys got?
I got a tie.
That's a derby. Oof.
I'll take Betis.
All right, I'm going to take Sevilla. Everybody's got a different pick for that one. Make it interesting. Excellent. All right, moving on. On Friday, in the Coppa Italia semifinal, we have Juve versus Milan. They're currently tied 1-1 aggregate. Who you guys got going through?
I got Juve going through. I think that performance was a little too much inspired by, Ibra and him being injured, and I'm not sure if they have the same direction as before. So, Juve.
Yeah, you even gotta ask me. CR7 hat trick.
CR7 hat trick. You heard it here
Juve.
first. Johnny's calling the CR7 hat trick.
That's what I call everything.
I too will call it Juve for this one. So while in our first picks we all had a different one, this time we all agree. The other semifinal for the Coppa Italia on Saturday, we have Inter versus Napoli.
That one's good, tasty.
This is
It's
Napoli's.
the game back. It's just one game.
Yep, it's the second leg.
I'll take. Where
They're
is
also
that?
tied.
Damn, I want to say Napoli then, just because.
I'm gonna agree with Johnny because
yeah. I
because
was pulling Andres move, but I guess pulling a Frankie move.
well, look, I'll go in Napoli because I think that's all they have left to play for. They're not going to win the league. They're not going to win in Europe. So I think they got to go all out to make their season a success and win the Coppa. So I go Napoli.
I mean, they're still in the champs technically.
They are. But,
so
yeah, you're right. But I don't see them. Well, I'm not going to say anything because we've seen Barcelona choke at these kind of stages in the last 2 years. But
that's what I'm telling you. Inter's a really good team, dude. That's a hard out team. Conte's team, you know you're not going to go play Conte and be like, that was an easy result tonight. Right? Fucking Conte, dude. Nah,
So
Inter's a good team, but I'll stick Napoli too.
Yeah, I got Inter.
Yeah. Good
I
pick.
think it was a pretty opportune time for them to kind of stop because they were kind of trending downward. I think they regroup and get a win. And hopefully try to make the Serie A again more interesting again.
hopefully. Moving on to more Spanish football. Barcelona plays Mallorca on Saturday. Who you guys got?
Barca. See, this pick, we didn't need to make it because I'm most likely we're all going to pick Barca. Messi hat trick or what? That's what I got.
I got Barca. I think Ansu Fati scores, Griezmann scores, Messi scores.
He said Ansu Fati. I agree with you, Johnny. We're all going to pick Barca, but at the same time, crazier stuff has happened. So
then the league is over if Messi loses first game back. But a lot of storylines actually this weekend.
Yeah. The next one from the major players there in Spain. Real Madrid plays Eibar on Sunday. Who you got?
Real, for sure. Both teams need to win next week, Barca and Madrid.
Yeah, I got Madrid as well.
If it's going to be a real race, they both better win.
Pressure's on both teams to win, like Johnny said.
Yeah.
All right, here's where I'm going to make my controversial pick. I'm going to go with a draw. I think Real's going to draw.
They can't score.
Yep.
We'll see if they get the goals.
Yep, that's what, and Johnny followed it up. That's all I need to say. Enough said. And then finally, the last one, and this might be, other than Sevilla Betis, the most competitive and interesting one in La Liga this weekend. Atletico plays Athletic Bilbao. Another one of those for the European spot battles. Who you guys got?
I got Atletico. Yeah.
I got a draw.
Draw. I will go with Johnny. I think Atletico is recovered. They're inspired by the Champions League triumph over Liverpool, and they realize that they got to get it together. So I'm gonna go Atletico as well.
The monster awakes or what?
Yeah, they get it together just in time. It's a good disciplined team. Yeah, to make third.
No league.
At the very least, fourth.
Yeah, fourth.
But yeah, this week is heavy. Again, no disrespect to the Bundesliga. The Bundesliga is great. It's entertaining. It's certainly kept us well fed over the last couple of weeks. But we got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. So once again, for those of you guys who are interested, tomorrow, Wednesday, ESPN at 1:45, 2 p.m. In the afternoon, and that's Central Time. Bayern Munich versus Eintracht Frankfurt in the German Cup semifinal. Then on Thursday, if you have beIN Sport, Sevilla versus Betis. Then on Friday, you've got Juve versus Milan on ESPN Plus in the semifinal for Coppa Italia. Saturday, Inter versus Napoli at 2 p.m. for the other semifinal in the Coppa Italia. And then if you have Bein Sport, of course, a whole gang of matches Saturday and Sunday from Spain. So a lot to watch, a lot to catch up on. I'm excited. We're excited. Also, before I go, I want to plug the first full heel fight companion since the COVID outbreak. This Saturday night on ESPN Plus, there is a fight night. Cynthia Calvillo is fighting Jessica Ai. That's the main event. And there are rumors, I am hearing whispers of the first fight companion in a while. Now that social distancing is being eased in our region. So definitely be on the lookout for that on Saturday so you can watch along to the ESPN UFC Fight Night. Other than that, thank you again to everybody who watched and participated. Shout outs to Recession Proof and Steve Q. Anybody else who watched live. Shout outs to Andres and Johnny. Thank you guys. Thanks to Rafa. Sorry about the technical difficulties. And we will see you all next week. Thanks again. Peace.
Football's back. Yeah. It's on.